Exciting news! This is Bebe, Clement, and alongside my husband, I run a group of small companies. Listen, the event of the year, you gotta be there. You gotta be there. The Global Real Estate Wealth Summit 2023 on the 14th of October. This is the place to be. Listen, AI is set to disrupt over 70% of jobs over the next 5 years. That means that there's a high possibility that your job is not going to be there in 5 years. And even if it is, that the degree to which you do your job is going to be greatly diminished. You have got to develop different income streams. And there's no better income stream to develop than real estate. Listen, crypto and all those are good, but I'm old school. I need to be able to see it and touch it. And the good thing about real estate is it doesn't matter what the economy is doing, whether the economy is doing well or whether we're in recession, people will always want somewhere to live. So I'm joining Dr. Olumide Emmanuel and a group of my friends, and we're going to get together, and all of us have invested in real estate. And as I say, success leaves clues. We want to share with you how we did it so you can do it too. You cannot afford to be dependent on your salary. It's never going to be enough. And every millionaire has about 7 different income streams going at a single time. So how are you going to survive on just one? So come along. All the registration details are at the bottom. Register today. Bring your husband, bring your wife. They need to be there. This has got to be the year where things change for you. I'll be speaking, and I look forward to seeing you there. Bye-bye.
Global Real Estate Wealth Summit with Dr. Olumide Emmanuel will be happening live in October in a city of the United Kingdom. It will be an event like none other. 1 day, 8 speakers, 10 sessions. Date, Saturday, 14th October 2023. Register now to qualify for the 30% discount offer. Visit www.olumideemmanuel.org/GrewUK to register, or call the hotlines 074-231-55486 or 020-322-30800.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Hey, hi ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here again. I hope you're well. Listen, what kind of washout summer are we having in the UK? The rest of Europe is roasting. In the UK, this is apparently the wettest summer on record. But it's sunshine on the Bebe Means Business show. Always sunshine here. So I'm glad that you're able to join us again today. And we have a really great show for you. For those of you who don't know who I am, or this is the first time that you've tuned in, I don't know why this would be the first time, but hey, better late than never. I'm glad that you're here. I'm Bebe Clement. I'm the host of the show. And alongside my husband, I run a group of successful companies. And I'm also the author of 2 books, How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur, which thankfully has sold over 5,000 copies. And my latest book is Wealth Creation, God's Way, which you can see at the bottom of my picture there. Wealth Creation, God's Way. And I'm going to be talking quite a bit about some of the excerpts from that book today to lay the foundation for what I want to speak about today. Okay. I want to thank everybody that's bought the book, by the way. I checked my bank account yesterday. Amazon has cut me yet another nice check from all the books that I've sold last month. So I'm really grateful. I'm grateful to God. I'm grateful to all of you who are buying. By all means, keep buying. It will definitely bless you. You can buy on my website, which is www.bbclement.com/shop. That's www.bbclement.com/shop, or you can buy directly from Amazon. If you just put the title of the book, Wealth Creation God's Way, it will come up and you can purchase it from there. Okay, so the big news story this week, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who live in the UK, Wilko, which is one of our high street brands, one of our more popular high street brands where you can get discount home furnishings, anything and everything to do from towels to garden furniture. Wilko sells it all and it's a family favorite. Sadly, Wilko announced last week that they are on the brink of collapse. And they are in the process of calling in administrators. I was checking the latest on it today. They have decided that they're going to close 14 stores. They're going to start with closing 14 stores. Like I said, they're looking for an administrator. And there are 12,000 jobs on the brink. 12,000 jobs at risk. And, you know, my heart goes out to each and everybody, you know, the employees of Wilko, because at the end of the day, it's always the employees that get thrown under the bus. But I want to say this. I think it serves to preach my message, so to speak, even more. And at events that I do, when I do wealth creation events, I actually get people to say this, and I do that for a reason. And if you're listening to me, I would encourage you to say this, and I would say this with utmost seriousness, that you can no longer single-mindedly serve your employer without taking active steps to create, grow, and protect your own wealth. Your own wealth. I'm going to say that again because it's really, really important. You can no longer single-mindedly serve your employer without taking active steps to create, grow, and protect your own wealth. Because I'm telling you, if you are working for somebody else and you are dependent on a salary as a source of income, as your only source of income, you are perpetually vulnerable in the marketplace. It doesn't matter how far up the food chain you go, if you are not an owner, the rules of capitalism state, and this is things that we don't educate ourselves about, the rules of capitalism state that if you are not an owner, you are an outsider. If you're not an owner, you are an outsider. So if you're not a direct owner of the business, or you're not a shareholder, that kind of thing, then you are an outsider. And as an outsider, you are perpetually vulnerable to these kind of things happening. The guys in Wilko who have worked there for forever, you know, many of them plan to retire into that company. Now they're going to have to start over. And if, unfortunately, if those of them that do not have other income streams, where are they going to start? Where are they going to start? So my heart goes out to you guys. I'm praying that it will not be the end of your story, but it will be a new beginning for many of you. And hopefully, you know, this. I'd like to think, or I'd like to pray that we see less and less of this. But in all honesty, I think the opposite is going to be true. I really do. I think the opposite is going to be true. I think we're going to see more and more of these household names collapse. I think they are. But the important thing is, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Now, we're not just even dealing with a collapsing economy or companies that that have existed for years going under, but then we have to deal with things like AI. And we are told that over the next 5 years, 70% of jobs are likely to be disrupted by AI. Which means that there's a high possibility that in 5 years' time, your job is not going to be there. And even if it is there, the degree to which you are going to be required to do that job is going to be greatly diminished. So again, the question is, what are you going to do about it? What are you just going to sit there and wait until, you know, the tsunami comes, as indeed it is already here? Or, as my dad used to say, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. Are you going to do something about it? This show exists to help you prepare for what is coming, helps you to improve your financial situation. It serves to wake you up, basically, to wake you up. Particularly those of you who are of the faith. You cannot sleep. The Bible says that you are to watch and pray. Not just pray, you are to see everything that is happening and act accordingly. So these things, I mean, the economy, politicians and the rich looking out for themselves, job scarcity and all that, these are external factors. There are external factors. And to be honest, there's very little that we can do about external factors. But when I was thinking about this, I was thinking, are there things that are within my control and your control that we may be doing or may not be doing that is hampering our ability to become financially free? And so today's, the topic that I'm speaking about today is self-sabotage. Self-sabotage. I believe that there are things, in as much as we talk about it, oh, I want to be wealthy, oh, I want to be financially free, oh, I want to be financially successful, even though we declare these things, there are still certain things that we are doing that is hampering our ability to become financially free, which are within our control. They are within our control. So, and oftentimes there are small things. Oftentimes, a little tweak here and there can totally change your financial story. Totally change your financial story. But one, you must be aware. Two, you must be in agreement that actually, yes, I do have a problem in this area. Three, you must be willing to do something about it. You must be willing to do something about it. There's no point in knowing if you're not going to do. No point in knowing if you're not going to do. You are responsible for the knowledge that you have. So we're going to look at some of those things today. I spoke about some of them, not last week's show, because last week we had a repeat. I think it was the week before. But I want to expand a little bit on them now. And then later on, we're going to go into the book of Proverbs, because the book of Proverbs is so rich, so rich. When it comes to finances, the book of Proverbs is mwah. I would encourage every entrepreneur, whether you are Christian or not Christian, to read through the book of Proverbs, because the nuggets about entrepreneurship in the book of Proverbs are just priceless. You know, I can't understand it. I see people who spend lots and lots of money on new cars and dresses and shoes and bags, and yet you have gold in between the pages of books, particularly the Bible, and we don't bother to read. I can't understand it. I really can't. So maybe that's another thing that we're doing, that's self-sabotaging. We're not reading the things that God has to say to us regarding finances. Okay, so let's have a look at some of the hindrances to wealth that some of them are self-sabotaging and some of them are beyond our control. But I just want to do a quick recap of what I spoke about before. So one of them, the first one, is a settler spirit. Now that is self-sabotage. There's no doubt about that. And a settler, by my definition, is somebody who has the ability to live on a higher plane than which they're living, to do more than what they're doing, to go further than what they're currently going. That's a settler. Nelson Mandela put it like this. He said, there is no honor in living a life less than the one that you are capable of living. I love that. That's a settler. A settler is somebody who lives a life that is less than the one that he is capable of living. The Bible says that to whom much is given, much is expected. God has given you and I lots of things with which to create wealth. He's given us our health. He's given us talent. He's given us connections. He's given us ability. He's given us a brain. Oh my God, he's given us a brain and our imagination. And psychologists tell us that the average person uses less than 10% of their brain capacity throughout their lifetime. And yet God has given it to us in order for us to be creative and to find ways to create wealth. So a settler, somebody who decides that, there's a song that they used to sing in Nigeria. I can't kill myself. Oh, I can't kill myself. Somebody who has decided that, man, it's just too tough. It's just too hard. It takes too long. And so they have stopped, or they're doing less than they're capable of doing. I don't want to live that way. I really don't. I mean, me and my husband, we have this conversation a lot. I don't want to live that way. I don't want to get to the end of my journey and look back and think, man, if I had just had one more meeting, if I had just read one more book, if I had just made one more phone call, if I had just made one more connection, perhaps my story would have ended differently. I don't want that to be my story. I want at the end of my journey to say, as far as it belonged to me, as far as it was up to me, I did everything possible to be the very best that I could be. Particularly in the area of wealth creation, which is the area in which God has called me to operate. I want to be able to say, as far as it was up to me, I didn't have any control over the economy, politicians, and all that. But as far as it was up to me and the things that I had control over, I did the very best that I could do. So do not accept a settler's spirit. Don't accept that for yourself. Hold yourself to a higher standard. You can do more. You can be more. You can read more. You can connect better. You can network harder. You can do more. So don't accept a settler spirit. That is self-sabotage. Self-sabotage. Casting down imaginations. Now that was very, very important to me, and I shared this. I shared my personal example or my personal experience. The Bible talks about this, and it warns against this, that we are to cast down imaginations that exalt themselves above the name of Christ. Now, that sounds very spiritual. What does it mean? And I talked about a personal experience that, for some reason, I don't know where this came from, but for some reason I had it in my mind that if you had not become financially free by the age of 40, the chances of you becoming financially free were next to nothing. It just wasn't going to happen. And that imagination, because that's all it was, there was no proof of that anywhere, that imagination took a strong hold in my mind. So such that when I approached 40, when I got to 40 and I wasn't financially free, I thought, well, it's never going to happen for me. It's never going to happen for me. And I began to do what I was talking about. First of all, I began to have a settler spirit. A settler spirit. So you must pull that. I don't know what that imagination is for you. It could be that you think it's too late. Oh, but Bebe, you don't know. I'm already 50 or I'm already 60. It's too late. What am I going to do at 60? Well, first of all, God tells us that we are to occupy till he comes. Till he comes. Not till we get to 50, not till we get to 60, not till we have that first heart attack. Till he comes, we are to occupy. Which means you don't just sit there on your laurels. I'm not saying you shouldn't rest. That's not what I'm saying. But you don't just sit there on your laurels. We're to occupy until he comes. So you might think it's too late for you. I remember listening to Bishop T.D. Jakes recently, and he was saying that he was in a meeting with some bigwigs. I've forgotten who it was, but there were some, very wealthy people that he was in a meeting with. And he just passed the comment and said, oh, he's getting old. And one of the guys said to him, don't ever say that again. And he said, what do you mean? And the guy said, well, first of all, you're not old. I think at that time he just turned 60. First of all, you're not old. Two, everything good that happened to him happened after the age of 65. So he said he was greatly challenged by that. He said because that's not his thinking. It's not his thinking at all, or it wasn't his thinking. Culture has said to him that, the black male, once he hits like 60, 65, he goes and sits in some corner in the living room and they bring his dinner to him and that kind of thing until he fades away into eternity. But that changed his mindset. So I don't know what kind of imagination has taken root in your mind that has made you feel that you cannot become financially free. But whatever it is, it's a lie. Take it from me. It is a lie. It might be your brain is telling you, oh, you don't have the right connections. Even that is a lie. Even that is a lie. I know from personal experience that is a lie. There have been times when I've thought both my parents are dead. I don't know anybody, that kind of thing. And God will send someone out of the blue, the least likely person. And if I was looking at them in the natural, you'd think this person, there's no way this person can help me. But believe me, you'd be amazed at the kind of people that God will raise up to assist you. You will be amazed. So that's not true. So don't let, things that take root in your mind or the voices in your own head, don't let them stop you from becoming financially free. You have to fight. You have to fight those voices. You really do. And tell yourself, no, I'm not too old. It's not too late. I'm not too tired. I'm not too broke. Because that's another thing that you will hear. Oh, you don't have any money, so you can't become financially free. That's a lie. That is a lie. There are people who have no money and started a business, and the business attracted the money. The idea attracted the money. So money is not the main issue when it comes to business. It is not. Believe me, it is not. Okay, then we talked about sin. Now, sin, of course, is self-sabotage. Any way you look at it, sin is self-sabotage. And if, like I said, encouraged you the other day, if you are in sin, and you know whether you're in sin, you don't need me to tell you, once you have the Holy Spirit in you, conviction will come. If you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, conviction is there to tell you. It will be nudging you. It will be pricking you. It will be. And if it's not, and you are in sin, then I would strongly wonder whether you are actually, really a Christian, because I can't see how the Holy Spirit can dwell in you and you can be freely engaged in sin without affecting you in any way. I really don't know how that is possible. But sin has consequences. And one of the major consequences for men, and this part is for men, one of the major consequences for men can be found in Malachi 2:13-16. If you are a man and you are listening to me, I would strongly encourage you to go and read Malachi 2, verses 13-16. Now, in those passages, God himself talks about how he was rejecting, was no longer willing to take the offering from the man, and how he was rejecting it from the man's hands. And even if he was going to receive it, he wasn't going to receive it with pleasure. And then they asked him, they engaged in conversation with him. Why would you not receive it? Why would you not receive our blessing? And this is really important, because it is most people know that to receive you have to give. That's a universal concept that everybody knows. You don't have to be a Christian to know that your receiving is tied up to your giving. And so he said, I will not receive it from your hand, because I am a witness to how you are treating your wife. Men, hear me. The Bible tells us that we wrestle not against flesh and blood. We are spiritual beings, and a lot of what happens to us has nothing to do with the physical circumstances of your life. You understand that? It has to do with what's going on in the heavens, in the spiritual realm. That is what is affecting you. And so there's some men who are listening to me, who are looking at their lives and they're thinking, I have tried everything and I don't seem to be able to make it. I've tried this business, they cheated me. I tried that business, it went under. I went for this job, I was on 30,000. I went for a job that could have increased my salary to 45,000. Every job I go to, they say no. If that is your story, where life just seems to keep shutting financial doors in your face, hear this as a word from the Lord. You need to go read Malachi 2:13-16. Perhaps there's a word there for you. The Bible says that he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. We often don't talk about the favor bit, but favor is really important. If you read John, it talks about Jesus increased in wisdom and favor with God and man. If it wasn't important, if Jesus, the Son of God, needed favor, then who are you not to need favor? I am telling you, you will not become wealthy without favor. You will not. Certain doors have to be opened to you, and they have to be opened by man. God is not going to come and open them himself. They have to be opened by man. Certain voices have to mention your name in certain rooms that you might not be in. Over the weekend, somebody contacted me from Nigeria. He said he wanted to he was quite an influential person in Nigeria. He said he wanted to connect with me. He said somebody had mentioned my name and had given him a copy of my book and some merchandise that I have, all the way in Nigeria. I didn't know him from Adam. I had no idea this lady was going to do that on my behalf. You need favor. You need people who will speak your name in rooms that you are not qualified to enter. So favor is really important. But God is saying that I'm going to withdraw my favor because you're not treating my daughter well. The way you treat your wife is connected to your financial growth. I'm going to say that again. If you are a Christian, the way you treat your wife is connected to your financial growth and your ability to become financially free. You don't have to believe me. That's fine. But these are godly Christian principles that we ignore at our peril. Okay, the story of the talents. We all know the story of the talents, when the master had 3 servants and he gave one 5 talents, gave one 3 talents, gave one 1 talent, and he went away and said, expected them to invest it. He didn't even tell them what to do with it. He just gave it to them and expected them to use their initiative to do something with it, to reproduce it, to grow it. And 2 of them did, and they both had a 100% return. And then one of them did nothing. He hid it. And when the master asked him, what did you do with it? He said, well, first of all, I knew that you were a hard man and that you like to reap where you didn't sow. First of all, that's a misconception, because there is nothing in that text that suggests that man was like that. The fact that man even gave you guys an opportunity to become wealthy would speak of the contrary, that was not the kind of man he was. But you see, he then said he was afraid. Fear will make you have a misconception about circumstances, about financial circumstances. Fear will stop you from removing your savings from your bank account where it is rotting in your savings account and investing it in something, taking the risk and investing it in something that has the potential to grow. Fear will stop you from doing it. Fear will stop you from going into business with someone who has a really good business idea and calls you and says, let's do this together. Fear will stop you from doing that. So that again is self-sabotage. Giving into your fears, and we all have fears, believe me, we all have fears. But the difference between somebody who becomes financially free or successful in life and somebody who doesn't is they overcome their fears. They feel the fear and they do it anyway. They talk back to the fear, the voice of fear, they talk back to it and they do what they need to do. You must be able to overcome fear. Otherwise, you will not be able to become financially free. Being too fond of sleep or non-productive activity is self-sabotage. Self-sabotage. I don't know anyone who is wealthy and sleeps a lot. I really don't. I mean, I did a study on this. I looked at all the people I know that are financially free, like millionaires, and I looked at their lifestyle, and I don't know any one of them that, you know, sleeps till 10 o'clock in the morning. Or I just don't. I don't. They're all, everyone I know that is very wealthy is an early riser. All of them, they're early risers. And it's really interesting because Steve Harvey, a little while back, he was talking on, I think it was Instagram, and he said that if you are sleeping 8 hours a night or more, the chances of you becoming financially free are next to nothing. And he got a lot of flack on social media from that. That, oh, Steve Harvey is he's prioritizing money over health. That's not what he was saying. That's not what he was saying. He was talking about a lifestyle. That if you are too fond of sleep, and to sleep, let me add some other things. If you are too fond of TV, too fond of your phone, spending endless hours flicking through and scrolling, if you are too fond of spending hours on your phone gossiping, the chances of you becoming financially free are next to nothing. Because I'm telling you that doing well financially takes discipline. It takes discipline. And the drip of purposeless, non-productive activity will cause you to end your days in financial ruin if you are not careful. If you do not arrest that drip. You know, people think that what makes them end up poor is some major catastrophe in their life. That's not true. For most people, that's not true. What makes you end up driving what you don't want to drive, living where you don't want to live, not being able to afford the kind of lifestyle that you deserve is the drip of constant non-productive activity. Self-sabotage. So if you are listening to my voice and I've hearkened on something that you've looked at your life and you think, that's me, then now is the time to do something about it. Now's the time to do something about it. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. Just to let you know, as always, that this is a live show. And you can call in with a question if you have any, or if you have any suggestions, or you just want to give an opinion. Please look us up on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @StarRadioUK. That's @StarRadioUK. Or you can text or WhatsApp us on 07539 661 744. That's 07539 661 744. Or you can email us at info@StarRadioUK. Or as if you're joining us on Facebook, then of course, just put your comments in the chat. And when we come back, we'll have a look and we'll talk about it. See you soon.
Hi guys, exciting news! This is Bebe, Clement, and alongside my husband, I run a group of small companies. Listen, the event of the year, you gotta be there. You gotta be there. The Global Real Estate Wealth Summit 2023 on the 14th of October. This is the place to be. Listen, AI is set to disrupt over 70% of jobs over the next 5 years. That means that there's a high possibility that your job is not going to be there in 5 years. And even if it is, that the degree to which you do your job is going to be greatly diminished. You have got to develop different income streams. And there's no better income stream to develop than real estate. Listen, crypto and all those are good, but I'm old school. I need to be able to see it and touch it. And the good thing about real estate is it doesn't matter what the economy is doing, whether the economy is doing well or whether we're in recession, people will always want somewhere to live. So I'm joining Dr. Olumide Emmanuel and a group of my friends, and we're going to get together, and all of us have invested in real estate. And as I say, success leaves clues. We want to share with you how we did it so you can do it too. You cannot afford to be dependent on your salary. It's never going to be enough. And every millionaire has about 7 different income streams going at a single time. So how are you going to survive on just one? So come along. All the registration details are at the bottom. Register today. Bring your husband, bring your wife. They need to be there. This has got to be the year where things change for you. I'll be speaking and I look forward to seeing you there. Bye-bye.
Hi everyone, it's your girl Bebe Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Get ready for this.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to the Bebe Means Business Show. A couple of announcements. You saw them during the break, but for those of you that missed them, one, of course, is the UK Wealth Summit on Real Estate on the 14th of October. Listen, you can't afford to miss that. You really can't. This is the event of the year. Real estate is one of those investments that has stood the test of time. It really has stood the test of time. So I would strongly encourage you to come along to that. It's only £1,000. Unfortunately, the early bird fee is over, but you can come along. It's like I said, it's £1,000. If you want some more information, you can go to Eventbrite. That's it on the screen on your left there. Go to Eventbrite and you will find it. Or if you call 0203 223 0800, that's 0203 223 0800. You will get some more information. If you call, there is somebody on the end of that line that will give you all the information that you need. And the good news is you don't have to pay all the money all at once. You can pay in installments. We know how difficult things are at the moment. But listen, let me tell you, £1,000 is a good investment, an excellent investment for what you are going to get. You are going to have access to people who have done well. People like you and me. You know, it's really nice to be in the same room with people like Richard Branson and all that, but a lot of times we can't relate to such people. But these people are just like you, just like me. They look like you and me, and they have done exceedingly well in real estate. Listen, there are some of you who have been in the UK for 10, 15, 20 years, and you have nothing financially to show for your being here. And yet, these people that are going to be there, they have been here sometimes even less than you have been there, but they have found a way to make the best use of the system and create wealth for themselves, and they are willing to share their secrets with you for £1,000. Also, in addition to that, for 90 days after the event, you will have access to 10 of us, because I'll be speaking on the day. You will have access to 8 speakers. Yes, 10 sessions, 8 speakers. You will have access to 8 of us for 90 days. We will be holding your hand. We will be mentoring you as to how to navigate the property market so that you can do well. Because a lot of times it's not that we don't even have the money, it's that we just need somebody to hold our hand. We are dedicating our time to help you for 90 days from the date of that summit, which is I think the 18th of October, 14th of October. 90 days thereafter, we are available to you to hold your hand, to help you, to establish you in the property investment space, so that you can do well. Listen, like I said, this has got to be the year that things change. It's got to be the year. Okay, so now I would like us to have a look at the book of Proverbs. And I'm going to be, again, going through a bit of my book as well, because I dedicated a whole chapter to Proverbs in my book. And I did that on purpose because, like I said, man, I can't believe you can be an entrepreneur and not read through the book of Proverbs, because it is just a gold mine. A gold mine. And so we're going to have a look at some of the things that are within the book of Proverbs that show us that we are self-sabotaging and what we can do to correct that. Okay, so the first thing I want to look at is Proverbs 3 verse 9. Proverbs 3 verse 9 says, "Honor the Lord thy God with thy substance and thy first fruits. Honor the Lord thy God with thy substance and thy first fruit. Now, you might be saying, well, you don't have to be, these are things that relate to Christians. What about those who don't know Christ? A lot of people who don't know Christ are very wealthy, and that is so true. In fact, the majority of the people I know that are millionaires are not Christians. But let me tell you, they all understand this principle. They understand this principle. I remember many years ago when I first of all started out in the speaking circuit, I was at a wealth creation seminar. It was a wealth creation seminar stroke a public speaking seminar, basically. And the lady that hosted us was, again, a millionaire. And I was shocked. She was clearly not a Christian. She made no bones about that. She said that up front. She didn't have any religious affiliation or anything like that. But at this seminar, this woman taught us the principle of tithing. I was in shock. I really was. She taught us the principle of tithing to a room of people who did not know God, but they were all in business. And she talked about how she takes 10% of whatever she earns, whatever money she makes, before she does anything else with it. And she described it as sowing it to the universe. And she said she has a charity that she donates 10% of whatever she earns into that charity. Before she takes any money out to spend on herself, before she pays any of her bills, she takes that money and sows it into that charity. And she actually called it the principle of tithing. And I'm like, wow. So sometimes we look at these people and we say, oh, they don't know God. They may not know God in the way in which we know it, but they understand what is really biblical principles, and they are applying them to their lives. And I have found, and I know that a lot of Christians may not agree with this, but I have found this to be true, that biblical principles will work for anybody. You don't have to be a Christian for biblical principles to work for you. So this is why Ecclesiastes says, I have seen a strange thing. I have seen servants riding horses and princes are walking. In other words, people who do not know the word and are not Christians are doing well financially, living a rich life, whereas those who are the children of God are not enjoying, because they're not applying the principles that God has placed down for us to become financially free. They are not applying them to their lives. So I was really happy when I heard her say that, because it said to me that actually it doesn't matter whether you know God or not. Principles are principles. They will work for you. So in Proverbs 3:9 it says, honor the Lord thy God with thy substance and the first fruit. Now, I want to deal with the first fruit bit first of all. The first fruit talks about prioritizing God. It really does. It talks about your priorities. It's not about the money, ladies and gentlemen. It's the priority that you place on your maker. When I read the story of the widow of Zarephath, and most of you know that story, Elijah didn't have anything to eat. God gave him an instruction. He said, listen, I have prepared a woman in Zarephath for you. Go to her, she will feed you. The interesting thing about that story is that that woman was on the edge of starvation herself. She really was. She was on the edge of starvation. And she was, in fact, when she met the man of God, she was gathering sticks with which to go and cook her last meal for her and her son to eat before they were about to lay down and die. She had accepted her fate that they were going to die of starvation, so she was literally going to make her last meal. And the man of God came across her and said, listen, go and get me something to drink. So as she was about to go and get me something to drink, he then said, and while you're at it, get me something to eat. Now, excuse me. Excuse me just a second. Now, okay, and while you're at it, get me something to eat. Now, she could have said, she explained to him, she said, listen, you don't even know. I'm about to die. I've only got just barely enough for me and my son. And he said, yeah, we've all got problems. Go get me something to eat. And she did. Before she made her last meal, she got the man of God, who in her mind was representing God, something to eat. That was the first fruit. She gave him the first of what she had. So again, it's one of the ways in which we self-sabotage is when we give God the leftovers, which many of us do. We would have bought our shoe and bag, we would have paid the mortgage, we have done everything else, and then we give God the leftovers. God says we have to give him the first of our fruit, the first of our fruit. Prioritize him. That's the first thing. The second thing is to honor him with your substance. Honor him. You know, some things are just a matter of honor. It's not, you know, there's a place for sowing and reaping. Yes, I don't have any problem with that. But there is also a place where you just honor. You just honor God. I mean, there have been times I'll give, like, when my dad was still alive, and I know I'm not, you know, it's not unusual for us to do this, but just send him money. It's not his birthday. It's not anything, but I just want to honor him. Honor the fact that he's my dad. Honor the fact that he, you know, he sacrificed to get me to where I was. Honor the fact that, you know, the position in which he holds in my life. Just honor. Some things should be done for honor. And same thing with God. Not a tithe, not an offering, nothing. I just want to honor you. And I think we should do that. Okay. Then we go to Proverbs 6:6. Proverbs 6:6 is really interesting. I love it because it talks about the ant. Talks about the ant. Proverbs 6:6, it says, "Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and learn from her." Giving instruction here. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways. Look at what she does and learn from her. In other words, there are things that we can learn as entrepreneurs from the ant. And if we do not learn from the ant, that in itself is an act of self-sabotage. But I want to talk a little bit about that word sluggard. Sluggard. A sluggard is primarily a lazy person, but it goes deeper than that. It talks about pace or speed. Now, those of you who are successful in business, you know that speed or the ability to move quickly or pivot quickly is vital to doing well financially. Vital to doing well financially. All right? So a sluggard is someone who doesn't move quickly. And there are opportunities, let me tell you, there are opportunities that are time sensitive, that are not going to be available forever. They are time sensitive. And if you are a sluggard, if you move slowly, if you procrastinate, if you know, I'll get to it tomorrow, or I'll read it tomorrow, I'll have a look at it when I have a minute. If you are like that, you will lose opportunities. This was really brought home to me recently. There was a house that I was trying to buy, and one of the reasons why I lost that house, even though I could afford to buy it, was because I didn't move quickly enough. I didn't move quickly enough. And so when I sat down and I thought about it, and I was you know, just analyzing, why did I lose that house? That's really a lot of the reason was based on that. There was something that was out of my control, but that was definitely a factor. And so I, you know, just made sure that that's not going to happen again. So it's important that you understand that if you're going to become financially free, you are going to have to pick up the pace. Pick up the pace. And this is why I always talk about being prepared. As an entrepreneur, you should be constantly prepared and on the lookout for opportunities. Like they say, it is better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than have an opportunity and not be prepared, not be ready. So don't be a sluggard. Being a sluggard is an act of self-sabotage. Sluggards fail to take advantage of opportunities not because they're not available, but because they move too slowly, or they are too slow. They fail to take action. They fail to take action. Entrepreneurs know, like I said, that a lot of opportunities are time sensitive. They are time sensitive. There are a lot of successful investors that make money in areas of new technology that are shrouded in mystery because nobody really knows how they work. So they move into those areas with speed, they make their money, and they exit the market before the average person even knows what has happened, before the average person has even educated themselves. And like the internet, the dawn of the internet is one such example. Those who were quick off the mark to get the information, to look at, okay, the potential of this monster called the internet, and got in there quickly, they became millionaires literally overnight, and then they withdrew. Right now is AI. Please hear me. AI is not fully understood. It's new technology. Some people are making millions from the ignorance that you and I have about AI. So this is the time for you to get in there, educate yourself as quickly as possible. Not just about AI itself, but how can I leverage AI to improve my business processes? Especially if you're a small business owner. You no longer have to take hours to do things. There are some AI packages, AI programs that can enable you to do things that were taking months in days. Literally, in days. It can enable you to do that. Somebody sent me an app recently about how to use AI to write training courses. This AI app will literally write this thing for you in an hour. Boom, you're done. Something that I was laboring over for days, sometimes weeks, it will do it for you in a day. Why would you not want that kind of information? Why would you not want that kind of process? So it's really important. So I would encourage you, if you don't know anything about AI, begin to educate yourself. Look at how you can take advantage. Even if you're too scared to do anything physically about AI, invest in up-and-coming AI companies. AI is not going anywhere. It's here to stay. It's just to expand its reach. So invest in, get some advice, do your research. If you need to hire somebody who knows a bit more about shares and stuff like that than you do, hire someone, ask them, what kind of AI company should I be investing in? There are some that look small, but have huge potential. I mean, when you look at something like, Zoom. For years, nobody had heard of Zoom, but it was there in the background. It was there in the background. I was listening to a guy recently, and he was saying, he was a Nigerian guy actually, he was saying that when Zoom first came out, he actually knew, I think, one of the guys that was involved in Zoom, and that guy had invited him to come and invest in it. And he said, I couldn't understand it. I didn't really see the potential. I just, no, don't worry. He said it was the biggest mistake of my life. Biggest mistake. He said, because then they just started. Nobody knew about it. Nobody knew about it. They just, because he was quite wealthy, they just approached him, that kind of thing. And he just thought, nah, I'll let this one go and see what happens. See what happens. So it's important that you move quickly. Right, so what wisdom can we learn from the ants? Let's do a couple before we end. Before I actually go into that, a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. One, tomorrow I'm going to be on the Money Mob Black Business Podcast tomorrow morning at 9:30. That will be on YouTube. Money Mob Black Business Podcast. If you put that on, if you have a look at it in YouTube, I'll be on there at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow, and I will be there. There it is. The details are on the left-hand side. Thank you. On the left-hand side, those are the details. Money Mob Podcast. I'll be speaking about money tomorrow morning at 9:30. So please, if you have a free 1 hour, I think it's an hour, 45 minutes or an hour, please tune in. You will learn a lot. There's a lot to learn. If you go to YouTube, you can see some past episodes. They've had some dope speakers on that show. I would encourage you to tune in. And when you tune into these shows, don't just tune in, subscribe. As you know, the more people that subscribe, you can make money out of that. The people that host these shows can make money. And why would you not want to put money in your brother's pocket? So I'd encourage you to not just come along, but to subscribe. And if you've never been to my YouTube page, please do. There's a Bebe Means Business YouTube page. Bebe Means Business YouTube page. Please go there. All the past episodes are on there. Click on there, subscribe, like, tell your friends. Please do. It's important that you do. All right. So let's have a quick look at the ant. One, ants get up very early. So this might be a time for you to examine your sleeping habits. They get up very early. And I've been challenged about that. Actually, a few years ago, the Lord actually spoke to me about this. This was even before I think I was doing all this. And he was telling me, you got to learn, get into the discipline of getting up early. Get into the discipline of getting up early. It is very unusual for me to be asleep at 7 o'clock. Very, very unusual for either me or my husband to be asleep at 7 o'clock. We're up. We're doing stuff. Life is for the living. My dad used to say, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Oh my God. So look at your sleeping habits. That's important. Actually, when I look at the Bible, my favorite Bible character, for those of you who know me, my favorite Bible character is David, because I really identify with David in so many ways. And one of the things I noticed about David was that where David was in his life, whether he was winning or he was losing in his personal life, was often characterized by his sleep pattern. Strange, but true. So when he was winning, like when he went to fight Goliath, the Bible says that he got up early. Oh, every time you read about that period of his life, and he arose early, and he got up early, and he quickly arose, and that kind of language. And when he began to fail, lose personal battles, lose battles of integrity, when he began to self-sabotage, it was also characterized by the amount of sleep. If you read the story about him and Bathsheba, the Bible says, and when he arose in the evening tide, wow. He arose in the evening. So now he's in a stage where he's sleeping all day. He's sleeping all day. I think actually his spiritual state was being reflected in his sleeping habit. He's now at a stage where he's sleeping all day. This is a man who was the commander-in-chief of the armies of God. He was supposed to be out leading the army, but he was sleeping. He was sleeping. And I think that when we're honest, if you look at your life, you will find also that those who, if you are in the habit of sleeping too much, it's unlikely that you're doing well financially. And also accomplish impossible things through teamwork. What kind of team worker are you? What kind of team are you building for your business? Now, I want to speak to my people. When I say my people, I'm talking about black people. Oftentimes, we don't understand the importance of teamwork. Look at any successful business. They are good at building teams. One, nobody can do it on their own. Two, you cannot just pick people out of, I don't know, oh, we went to school together, oh, he's my friend, oh, he's my sister, which we often do. The fact that that person is your sister does not mean that they're going to do well in your business or going to lead your business where it needs to go. Hire people who are competent and who have strengths where you have weaknesses and know what they're doing, and they buy into your vision. Those are the kind of people you should hire. Do not hire the cheapest person. Do not hire dead wood. Hire people who have, who are able to accomplish your vision, who are skilled, who are able, who are hungry, who are determined, and who have get up and go. Build good teams. You are not, I'm telling you, I don't care what you say, even if you have all the money, even if you are not going to do well financially if you do not build a good team. And in building your team, you got to get over yourself. Do not self-sabotage by your own prejudices. It does not matter whether that person is gay, whether that person is transgender, whether that person is male, whether they're female, whether they're of a different religion from you. All that matters is they got what you need. And they can run with your vision and work well within a team. Okay? That's the important thing. Teamwork makes the dream work. I'm sure you've heard that before. Teamwork makes the dream work. Okay. Ants carry more than their body weight. They carry more than their body weight. They go over and above what looking at them seems possible to do. You're looking at this scrawny looking, barely there ant, and you're seeing him carry this massive leaf on his head. And you're thinking, excuse me? How? They are able to do over and above. It's a matter of determination, ladies and gentlemen. It's a matter of determination. That's all it is. So you have to determine within yourself, I am going to do it. Come hell or high water, I am going to do it. I'm going to become financially free. I don't care what happens. I am not going to self-sabotage. I am not going to put limitations on myself. I am going to become financially free. Okay. Fast when it is sunny, and they are slow when it's cold. They are sunny, and they are slow when it's cold. Cough. Excuse me. Yes, they're slow when it's cold. In others, elements to their advantage. They take advantage of the seasons. Are you aware of the seasons of your life? And if so, how are you taking advantage of them? So we have some people, maybe you are a woman at home, you've just had a baby, and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to, I want to start a business, but I'm not going to start it yet. I'm going to wait until my child is in nursery. Really? Why? Why? What are you doing that you can't start the business now? You don't have to go out and work. You can start a business at home. All those old excuses, they're not working anymore. So all you're doing is that you're at home with the baby. Yes, so you feed the baby, you burp the baby, you dress the baby, whatever. But at some point, that baby will sleep, or will rest, or will play. Why not snatch 30 minutes and read a book on business or finance? Why not snatch 30 minutes and do some research about the business that you want to start? Or maybe the kids have gone off to school and you're sitting at home doing nothing. That dream that you have to start a business, when are you going to do it? You're waiting for them to go to secondary school or go to university? Why? Anything can happen between now and then. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes. Not to talk of the next 1 hour, next 1 year. So seize the day. Carpe diem, as they say. Seize the day and work with the elements. Work with the elements. Use the elements to best advantage. Use them to best advantage. They find food all day long. They are diligent and tenacious. All day long, they find food. They are diligent and tenacious. Are you diligent? Or do you only do half measures? Do you only do 50% when you could do 70%? They are diligent. They go all the way, all out, all the time. Are you diligent? Listen, I know some Christians don't believe this, but I found this to be true. It is not every door that prayer opens. It's not, especially when it comes to building wealth. It's not every door that prayer opens. There are some personal characteristics that can change your situation. Tenacity is one of them. Refusing to take no for an answer is one of them. Knocking on that door until somebody opens is one of them. And if somebody opens that door and slams it in your face, just saying thank you for the opportunity and going next door and knocking on that one as well until the door is opened. Tenacity will open doors faster than prayer. Believe me, it will open doors faster than prayer. Discipline and diligence will open doors faster than prayer. Not everything is about prayer. They are well organized. Well organized. How well organized are you? Recently, now you might laugh at this, but this is true. Recently, the Lord was speaking to me. He was saying, Bebe, you have got to get into the discipline of making your bed in the morning before you do anything else. And strangely, that was a challenge for me because I'm usually up and I'm gone and I've done something else, and then I make my bed at some other point. But God challenged me recently. He said, I want you to start making your bed the first thing you do when you get out of bed. And I think what the Lord was showing was that I lack organization. I need to get more organized. Some things I'm really good, but some things I'm not. I need to get more organized. And I can't even begin to tell you how difficult that simple thing was. But it revealed a deeper issue, if you see what I mean. It revealed a deeper issue. You need to get organized. You need to get organized. If you can't, some people, they spend 30 minutes looking for a sock in the morning. Well, in that 30 minutes, somebody has made hundreds of thousands of pounds in the stock exchange while you're looking for your sock. Again, the Lord was telling me recently to rearrange my wardrobe. And when I rearrange my wardrobe, when I put, skirts one place and dresses one place and slacks another place, I can tell you that getting dressed in the morning, my time for getting dressed in the morning has been cut by, I'd say, a good 70%. Because I could stand there and think, okay, where's that skirt that I wore last week? Oh, is it in the laundry? I could waste time doing that. And before you know it, 30 minutes has gone. An hour has gone of your life that you're never going to go back. And you were looking for some skirt. So it's important that as entrepreneurs, we get organized. We get organized. Because being organized makes you more efficient. It helps you move quicker, take decisions quicker, act faster. And you need to be able to do that as an entrepreneur. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for joining me again today. Just before you go, quick reminder, the Real Estate Wealth Creation Summit's coming up 14th of October. Don't miss that. Don't miss that. Don't miss that. Catch me on the Money Mob podcast tomorrow at 9:30. I'm going to be a guest on that show. If you go to YouTube and look for Money Mob podcast, I will be on it. Also, if you want to advertise your products or your services on the show, by all means, contact us, please. You can play your jingle. You can advertise your products. You can send us a video. You can appear as a guest on the show, all for a price, of course, but all very affordable. But please let me encourage you to do that, because this show exists for you to do well financially. So, enjoy the rest of the week, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be here again. Same time, same place next week. We'll be waiting for you. Now, don't let life dictate to you, but put your signature on life. Bye-bye.
Hi guys, exciting news! This is Bebe Clement, and alongside my husband, I run a group of small companies. Listen, the event of the year, you gotta be there. You gotta be there. The Global Real Estate Wealth Summit 2023 on the 14th of October. This is the place to be. Listen, AI is set to disrupt over 70% of jobs over the next 5 years. That means that there's a high possibility that your job is not going to be there in 5 years. And even if it is, that the degree to which you do your job is going to be greatly diminished. You have got to develop different income streams. And there's no better income stream to develop than real estate. Listen, crypto and all those are good, but I'm old school. I need to be able to see it and touch it. And the good thing about real estate is it doesn't matter what the economy is doing, whether the economy is doing well or whether we're in recession, people will always want somewhere to live. So I'm joining Dr. Lumide Emmanuel and a group of my friends, and we're going to get together, and all of us have invested in real estate. And as I say, success leaves clues. We want to share with you how we did it so you can do it too. You cannot afford to be dependent on your salary. It's never going to be enough. And every millionaire has about 7 different income streams going at a single time. So how are you going to survive on just one? So come along. All the registration details are at the bottom. Register today. Bring your husband, bring your wife. They need to be there. This has got to be the year where things change for you. I'll be speaking, and I look forward to seeing you there. Bye-bye.
Global Real Estate Wealth Summit with Dr. Lumide Emmanuel will be happening live in October in a city of the United Kingdom. It will be an event like none other. 1 day, 8 speakers, 10 sessions. Date, Saturday 14th October 2023. Register now to qualify for the 30% discount offer. Visit www.olumideemmanuel.org/GrewUK to register, or call the hotlines 074-231-55486 or 020-322-30800.
Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, Bebe Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Star Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.